And thank you once again to our research speakers and panelists for today. No, I think ready na po talaga tayo for our open forum. So without further ado, let us proceed. Sir David, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Marian and Maribeth. Now we will quickly open the floor to hear some of the thoughts, questions, and reactions of our participants, both on Zoom and on Facebook live stream. Please use the raise hand option on Zoom if you would like to speak. We will gladly call on you and recognize you to unmute. Once called, please introduce yourself by stating your name and organization and clearly state your question and to whom it is directed. Or you also have the option to type your question or comment in the chat box. Rest assured that we will take as many questions as time permits, following a first come, first serve basis. In the interest of time, for those that you won't get to entertain, feel free to reach out through Jajisi's channel or directly to our resource speakers. All right, let's start. I believe we have a question on the chat box from Ma'am Alili Sibilia. Ang question niya, with the current corruption issues that we are facing right now, do you think this will affect the implementation of just transition plan? Nakaka-apekto daw po ba yung napakatinding corruption issue ngayon doon sa ating plano para sa just transition?
Siguro since Sir Jerry is raising his
Yeah,
hand
I
po,
think
he
Sir
can
Jerry can
go
answer
ahead na
that
po.
first question. Go ahead, Sir Jerry.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging. Um, Before I answer that question, I think we need to respond to what the DOE have said in the chat, no? That balanced energy mix is essential for ensuring reliability and affordability. So I think we're all for that, right? And we've been all for that. At siguro maganda rin syempre, alam ko may sasabihin si Bert dito on this matter. But from our end, I think the energy mix, kahit naman 100% renewable energy, and we did a study, commissioned a study with climate analytics, at ito ay in-engage namin ng Philippine government, no? Yung aligned to 1.5 degrees at anong klaseng mix ang pwede to pursue alignment sa 1.5 degrees. At dun sa study na yon, and we conveyed it to the government, na sinasabi doon, kaya ang 100% renewable energy power mix. And when we say renewable energy power mix, it doesn't mean isang source lang yon, right? Renewable energy is multiple sources. And that is why hindi ko maintindihan pag ang argument ng lagi ng Department of Energy, and there has been an argument for 2 decades already. This is not a new argument na kumbaga parang kailangan technology neutral, kailangan may power mix, na para bagang if you push for renewable energy and 100% renewable energy ay isang source lang ang pinapatungkulan mo. No, it is actually a set of sources, and we can detail that in cite numerous studies that says that it is viable for the Philippines, including 100% and 1.5 degree aligned sa power sector, ano. So yun yung una. Pangalawa, doon sa usapin ng argument na parang kailangan ng base load and that renewable energy is intermittent, Diyos ko po, this argument has been with us for the last 20 years. This has been the argument of the Department of Energy since the beginning of and the advent of coal expansion, and look at what happened to us, right? Nag-evolve yung argument nila from clean coal, cheap coal, and that they need base load, so on and so forth, that renewable energy is intermittent. Look at what happened to us. Second, natigilan ng coal, nagkaroon ng coal moratorium, and finally they were forced to acknowledge. Tatlo ang rason nun, and some of those were actually elaborated by Bert during his presentation. Pero still, may revolving door uli, and then they veer towards gas. Same argument again, that renewable energy is intermittent, expensive, blah, blah, blah. Same argument as when the coal expansion started. And then we shut them down. Ang LNG ay sobrang mahal, ang gas infrastructure sobrang mahal, at sobrang mahal ngayon ng electricity dito sa Meralco franchise area where gas dependency is at the highest. At the start of the administration, more than 9 pesos per kilowatt hour ang presyo ng kuryente natin sa bills natin. Today, it's one of the highest across the country, especially for private distribution utilities, more than 13 pesos per kilowatt hour. And that has been your argument. And now you're arguing again, the same argument against renewable energy for nuclear. It's the old arguments, right? And technology have flourished. And yun yung hindi ko maintindihan. And actually, there are so many developments already on the field. Notwithstanding yung grid level na base load solar. Pero syempre, yung arguments and policies that have proliferated the transition in small islands like Mindoro, Negros, etc., Palawan, sobrang dami ng examples for 100% renewable energy, no? So, this argument against renewable energy should be disabused by the Department of Energy. In fact, ako, ang sa akin na lang, ang pinakatingin ko nga dyan, it's either merong corporate capture sa Department of Energy, which has promoted fossil fuel and now nuclear and WTE, or ay hindi lang talaga ang education kasi ng ating mga taga Department of Energy ay hindi doon sa makabagong renewable energy distributed microgrid systems, because the schooling on this has just begun quite recently. Aral ang mga karamihan ng mga technocrats, the Department of Energy, in the old school or in a very old paradigm or system ng power sector, ano. So, the Department of Energy needs to accept kung ano talaga ang burden niya. Bakit rehash lagi yung kanyang arguments against renewable energy? The last point that I wanted to make is it has been plagued already by corruption issues. Hindi ang corruption issues in the power sector has been there for quite some time. Look at all the cases that have been filed in the Ombudsman against ERC, against Secretary Lutilia. Look at all the cases have been filed on graft and corruption practices against ERC and lopsided deals sa Court of Appeals, etc. So this has been going on. Hindi po siya, and that is really why ang buong power sector is dominated right now by fossil fuel. Kasi mahal sila, madumi sila, and even nuclear. Paano i-accept ng public yun? Paano technologically i-accept natin yun kung nakakaapekto siya sa lahat? Kung hindi yan ay corporate capture.
Ako naman, Jerry.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, may I have the floor, ma'am? Okay, good. I ask to answer directly the comment of DOE Sydney Requillo, no? There's a trigger that, this thing about solar and wind intermittent, mali po yun. It's not true, it is wrong. You shouldn't say it as DOE. And remember, I'm saying this as the former head of planning of the Office of Energy Affairs, the precursor to the DOE. And by the way, when I was in the DOE from 1982 to 1990, in 1984, we were 52% renewable using geothermal and hydro. Nung RE Act 2008, we were down 35%, but we were 52%. So please, yung balanced energy mix, sabi nga ni Jerry, parating yung sinasabi yan. What I said about nuclear is based on my being a technologically agnostic person on energy supply. I don't care. If nuclear happens to be very safe and very cheap, fine, I'll go for nuclear. But my presentation said it's too big, you don't need any more base load, and it's too expensive. Now, ngayon, sinabi pa ni DOE, it's intermittent daw yung solar and wind. Hindi po, variable. It's variable, and according to the metrics of the IMAP, it is also predictable. I've always said there is only one intermittent technology in our grid, and that's coal and gas na base load. You saw the graph that I presented. Di ba intermittent yon? No? Compare that with the actual operation of solar and wind. So, intermittent, yes, coal and gas, intermittent. Hindi base load yan talaga. There is no base load plant operating in the Philippines. Please, no? So, actually, sinabi ko na rin to sa mga boss nyo eh. No? So, dapat alam na ng DOE, this argument, balance energy mix, no, doesn't fly. Will nuclear solve our problem? Our problem is not more capacity. Our problem is the need for more diversified and flexible grid. That's our solution. Now, another point. Every time that we talk of solar and wind, it's as if those are the only technologies. I mentioned hydro, I mentioned geothermal. If you look at the IMAP data on power plants, the one with the highest average capacity factor is geothermal. Even Tiwi and Macban operate better than most new coal-fired power plants. So please, ano ba tong nakalagay dito? Inherently intermittent, cannot guarantee continuous supply. Coal cannot guarantee continuous supply. That's why we have red and yellow alerts every summer. No? And now, what's the cause of the red or yellow alert in Visayas? Forced outages pa rin. Forced outages pa rin. Ano yun? Solar and wind ba yun? Hindi. Probably coal, probably a baseload coal power plant. So let's be very, very clear. I'm very careful in the use of my terms. So when I say too expensive, it is expensive. Sinabi ko na yung $8,000 per kilowatt. If you read my previous reports, nuclear will probably cost between 7 to 10 pesos per kilowatt hour, higher than current cost of coal. No? So please, I hope our discussion today will be more focused on actual numbers. That's why my presentation is evidence-based. When I say we have an overcapacity, I show you why. When I say it's expensive, I show you why. When I say it is reliable, predictable, ganyan, well, I'm citing IMAP metrics on the grid. So with that, I'll shut my mouth and maybe the others have more comments or questions.
Maraming salamat po. I think hindi nasagot pa kanina yung tanong, no, na
Apo.
makaka-apekto ba
Actually.
yung mga nangyayari ngayon sa just transition. I think we go back to that
Apo.
question first before we proceed to the question of Ms. Tessa.
Yes,
Sir
short
Jerry,
answer
what do
lang
you
po
think?
doon.
May I answer that also? If I
Sige pa, go ahead, Sir Bert.
Kasi yung just transition, no one left behind and so on. Remember, in the power sector, it's the private sector that builds the power plants, not the government. Even if the government would like to have nuclear, would promote nuclear, they will not be the one to build, finance, and so on, develop that project. So, I think na if the technology doesn't work, as I said about nuclear, then they will not build. They will, unless they can get the, I don't know, what was that deal on waste to energy in Cebu, na 40-year take or pay or something? Ayun. Pero, you need a willing buyer and a willing seller. I think it's through fora like this that we inform the public na, ay, nuclear, mahal yan. Hindi yan kailangan, sobra na nga yung baseload natin. So, I think corruption, because it's not the government building, the impact of that will have less, except at the policy level.
Thank you, Sir Bert, for that answer to the question. Now we proceed to Ms. Tessa and then Dr. G. Ms. Tessa, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I'm happy, that we have representatives from DOE, DNR, and we have NGOs, because we hope that we will have a dialogue really and come up with a good decision for ecological sustainable development for our country. Okay. I'd like to ask you, DOE, you've been talking to suppliers of nuclear. Have they discussed how they intend to manage the wastes for the Philippines? That's one question. And then my next question is, you these technologies are still being studied. However, meron ng mga DOE circular that says na yung first nuclear investors will bypass the usual competitive selection process to fast track the development of this technology in our country. So wala pa nga, you're still studying it, pero meron ng circular to invite mga investors. We don't even know if talagang ito ang technology for our country. And that is the same case with WTE, na talagang mawawala yung auction for WTE, and they will start it this January 2026, na talagang for Metro Manila and highly urbanized cities, may schedule na special green energy auction para sa WTE. Eh, I mean, okay. So number one, it seems wala masyadong transparency. Alright, sana lumabas muna to sa media, ma-discuss talaga ng mabuti yung pros and cons, marinig ang views ng different people and different sectors bago talaga we go into this kind of mga policies. So, yun lang ang tanong ko sa is it possible to really make this transparent, involving media and showing this to everyone, listening to their reactions and feedback bago tayo to really engage in these technologies, because as we've said, there are alternatives. We should also promote these alternatives. Anyway, thank you.
All right,
Yun,
our
tanong ko sa
representatives from
DOE.
government. Yes po, from our government agencies. Yes po, please answer.
Yes, ma'am. From DOE on concerns of nuclear. Yes, ma'am. For the issuance of the department circular, this only pertains to the Pioneer nuclear power plant. So, under the circular, which the Pioneer NPP is granted an exception from the CSP, it intend to accelerate the development and to ensure the financial viability of the country's first commercial nuclear power plant. In terms of transparency naman po, we've had a public consultation on this wherein we invited comments from the public as posted on our website. And then when it comes to yung kaninang na-mention ni ma'am about sa suppliers, for now po, with our international counterparts, there's an ongoing presentation of, their technologies and best practices. So on the question of waste, so far wala pang talks on kung paano yung gagawin ng waste, since wala pa yung contract exactly in terms of nuclear fuel cycle, yun yung procurement na talaga, and that's for the guidance of our private sector. But on the part of the government handling the radioactive waste management, we are working on different frameworks to address the matter, and the step right now that we're actually doing is to identify a possible site as stipulated in RA 12305. Thank you.
Okay, we just hope that it becomes really transparent. We see it on media, it's being discussed, and we hope bago tayo to go into it, we know how they intend to manage our waste, because that's one big concern ng civil society. Okay,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you.
This is noted po. Thank you po.
Thank you, Ms.
Sige.
Tessa and Ma'am Sheila from the DOE. Nakakaano lang, nagtataka lang ako doon sa consultation, no? Kasi nakapost sa website. Siguro mas better sa government na i-invite talaga nila directly yung mga civil society organizations rather than, wait for people to, sign up for the public consultations. Kasi usually, pag moderator yata mahirap pero anyway, I just have to say it. it's better that they invite directly, no? Kasi usually ang nai-invite dito ay kung sino yung pabor doon sa kanilang pinupost, and that should change, no? Para genuine public consultation. Just a quick suggestion on that. Dr. G, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Wow, thank you for this to our speakers. Really very, very informative. I would like to ask the government agencies about the legality um of the waste to energy. The Clean Air Act expressly prohibits incineration. Waste to energy using thermal is incineration. The other concern is doesn't it go against the RA 9003, the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act, which mandates segregation? And therefore, if we segregate, the only thing we should incinerate
Naputol yata yung nawala yata yung internet ni Dr. G. Dr. G?
Yeah, we should only incinerate residual waste.
I think siguro to sum up habang
Something content.
nawala yung internet ni Dr. G. Ano po ba yung legal implications nitong waste to energy? Is it allowed by the Clean Air Act, or has the DOE and other proponents considered if it is allowed by the Clean Air Act and other laws of the Philippines?
Our representatives from the government agencies. Perhaps the EMB can answer.
Yes po. Regarding to sa question ng legality, no, actually, I'm from Environmental Impact Assessment and Management Division. So, RA 9003 is being handled by our Solid Waste Management Division, and we have a separate division and or section for air quality management. But just we do have a DAO on waste to energy, and I think it has been it went under yung pag-issue sa DAO na yon, it underwent public consultation, and if ever there is legal implications, I think only the legal person could answer, because I'm more of a technical person po. Thank you. But I would refer that to our office and get back to you po kung may makuha po ako sa opisina.
Yes, and I understand. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes po.
Yes
And
po.
I understand there are already cases already questioning this technology because of legality. Can you update us on that? Do you have any update on that?
Ma'am, apologies po, but although I am from EMB, I am not the right person po to answer because I'm from the Environmental Impact and Management Division. But nonetheless, I will get back po to you to get po kung meron pong update sa legal ano po namin sa office.
Yeah. I wonder if
Apa.
I wonder if Sonia Mendoza has any update on this. The cases that the charges or cases that have been brought to the court. Sonia, alam mo ba?
As I was reading, preparing for my presentation, may nakita ako sa isang news na sinasabi ng UNDP or UNEP ba, na the ban on incineration was already repealed by when the guidelines for the waste to energy was formulated by the DENR. Pero for me, the Clean Air Act is a law.
Yeah.
You have to
Yes.
amend that or really para mawala yung ban on incineration. So, sabi ko nga, wala ba tayong magaling na abogado? Para ihabla talaga yung the proponents of the WTE na nag-aano ng incineration. And in fact, maglalagay na sila sa Smoky Mountain, displacing those people there. At I think the one in Tarlac ba, yung kay yung sa kay Rason, I think that's also WTE. Pero alam mo, ang WTE, matagal niyang gawin, mga 6 years bago nila magawa yan. So, bakit di na lang tayo sundin natin yung RA 9003 like segregation at source, composting and recycling na ginagawa ng San Fernando City of Pampanga, Malabon and Navotas, Siquijor. Walang emissions yun. Why will you make emissions? Tapos more than half of the cost of the facility of WTE is to control the emissions. Yung emission control devices ang napakamahal. That's why it's $600 million for a 3,000 ton waste to energy, no? Kasi nga, kailangan nila maglagay ng talagang mahal na emission control. Eh, yung RA 9003, well, segregation, composting, walang emission yun eh. So why will you produce emission and then gumastos ka ng napakamahal para hindi siya lumabas? Eh lumalabas din yan. As proven na yung mga high state of the art na sinabi ko kanina in Harlingen, in Paris, meron ng dioxins yung mga chicken eggs doon. Ibig sabihin, lumalabas yung dioxins and furans kahit anong emission control devices nila. It's mechanical. Magfe-fail yan eh. And then when you wash those filters, yung wastewater mo puno ng dioxins and furans. So what do you do with that?
Thank you, Ma'am Sonia. Thank you, Dr. G. Alam mo, Marian, kanina 2 beses sinabi ng DOE at ng DENR na there is a public consultation. At gusto sigurong malinawan nating lahat, pwede bang ipaliwanag ng DOE at ng taga-DENR, how does public consultation work? Paano ba ito ginagawa? Kasi like sa Smoky Mountain, the people there are against. Yung nasa Verde Island, Batangas, ayaw nila sa LNG. Yung iba ayaw sa nuclear. Pero how come na nagpapatuloy ito? Sino ba yung kinukonsult? Paano po ba ginagawa yun? Kasi parang marami ang ayaw, pero ang depensa po kanina doon sa 2 sagot ay there is public consultation. And it seems that since natuloy siya, the public says yes. So paano po ba nangyayari yung public consultation?
Ano yan? I was invited to one public consultation, no? Kasi NGO kami, Mother Earth. What they do, and they spend a lot of money, kaya lang meron silang sponsor like UNDP, UNEP. So, ini-sponsor nila. They do it regional. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. So, they will do it in isa sa Luzon, nag-iimbita sila ng mga public. But hindi naman naiintindihan ng public din lahat yung mga pinag-uusapan doon. So pag botohan na, approve na yung yung kanilang kinonsult. So I don't think it's a very effective public consultation eh. Hindi talaga naiintindihan ng mga uma-attend. Ano ba yung pinag-uusapan dito? Ano ba yung talagang delikado dito sa WTE na ito? Kasi pagtapos ng consultation, ang result, positive. Approved ng public. So, ilang beses na yan, even the EPR, ganun din ang nangyari. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, ang consultation yan. Pero alam naman natin, maraming loopholes yung EPR na yan eh. Pero approved din sa public consultation. That's how they do it.
Baka may problematic din, no? Sir Bert,
Opo.
you're raising your hand.
Yes.
To help the battle against incineration by telling you the Supreme Court decision that has been cited in support of this incineration. It's GR number 147465. Alam niyo po ba yon? Yung April 10, 2002 MMDA versus Jancom Environmental Corp.
Yeah.
This is the one being cited, ma'am, which you have to debunk. According to the Supreme Court, the ban on incineration, hereby defined as the burning of municipal, biochemical, and hazardous waste, which process emits poisonous and toxic fumes, is hereby prohibited. Yun po yung nakalagay, no? Dun sa Ecological Solid Waste Management Act.
Ang sinasabi nila dyan, as long as
It
yung
does not, ito po yung sabi ni Supreme Court it does not absolutely prohibit incineration as mode of waste disposal, rather only those burning processes which emit poisonous and toxic fumes are banned. Therefore, I think ang kailangan talaga is to prove based on the contention na yung mga sinabi nyo kanina na pag tiningnan natin yung operational performance niyan, then we can prove that they emit poisonous and toxic fumes. So, ito po yung ginagamit na palusot no? So, I think we have to be ready to debunk okay, so we will measure, but ito yung clear standards, and if they do not meet the clear standards, banned yan, prohibited yan.
yeah, pero yung standard ng Clean Air Act natin is already outdated. Kasi ang dioxins and furans, ang baba, wala yung tolerable
Okay, ma'am,
limit.
yes. In that case, ma'am, I would suggest, as a layman, my interpretation of the Supreme Court decision is poisonous and toxic fumes have to be updated. Just, di ba? Di ba ho? Ibig
Yeah.
sabihin, pag hindi
Dapat
natin, may alam tayo ngayon na hindi natin alam dati, edi update natin yung mga standard natin.
Yeah.
So,
dapat
there
magkaroon
are certain things that have to be done to address, I think, this issue. But ito po yung ginagamit nilang dahilan kung bakit pwede pala yung incineration, kasi according to the Supreme Court in 2002, what is absolutely prohibited is those burning process which emit poisonous and toxic fumes. Kailangan po i-ano natin to
may
prepare.
standards yun. Yung standards niya nga. So, dapat magkaroon ng oversight committee to amend yung mga standards. Kasi outdated.
Yes, dapat po.
Thank you for that clarification, Ma'am Sonja and Dr. Bert. Nakita ko nga kanina yung sinite na kasi sinearch ko din kung allowed by law at nakita nga yung Supreme Court decision na yun, which is very tricky. So I think tama yan na talagang kailangan tutukan na kung ito ba ay hindi malinis, so makokontra yung decision ng Supreme Court na yun.
Yeah.
Dr. G,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, the other aspect is parang incineration would mean, and it was cited, even organic waste, which is compostable, will be burned. Municipal waste. So it does not, so segregation is put aside. But the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act specifically mandates segregation. And so if we do segregate, konting-konti na lang yung residual waste. Even residual waste can be recycled. So have they made a study on the sustainability of using residual waste? If they do it properly, it's only residual waste that they will use. But they talk about municipal waste at large. And in fact, LGUs are, when they go into a contract with the incineration supplier, has to guarantee the amount of waste that will go into the facility. So that means we have to generate waste whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
So legally, that's against the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act.
At saka ano yan yung guidelines for the waste to energy mandates segregation.
Yeah.
Pero pag hindi mo narating yung minimum volume of waste that you have to deliver to the facility, susunugin na nila lahat yan. Kay organic waste yan, kay papel or plastic or bote. Kasi you have to pay the tipping fee for the minimum volume of waste in the contract for 25 years yan or 40 years. So, mawawala yung guidelines na kailangan segregated waste. Paano kung 3,000 tons yung nasa contract, 2,000 lang na di-deliver mo? You have to pay for the 3,000 tons because that will be in the contract. And at sa kanila, lock nila ang communities. The list is 25 years. Kaya ang daming nalugi sa Amerika ng mga incinerators because nagre-recycle na yung tao eh. So, konti na lang ang waste nila. So, utang ng utang yung kanilang tipping fee na kulang. So, finally, nababankrupt yung sa Connecticut, nabankrupt yung Connecticut because of that incinerator na hindi na nila mabigyan ng waste.
Napakaganda nun, Marian. Tama nga naman na baka maaring that is against the spirit of the law of the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act. Saka alam ko, Marian, yung MMDA parang nananawagan sila ngayon, may plan sila for circular economy. So I think parang medyo contrary yun dun sa ano ng MMDA. Let's go with Ma'am Tessa and then Gwen for our last two comments or reactors. Then we proceed to the wrapping up of the forum. So kung may mga
Yes,
additional pa kayong
yes.
question, you can always reach out to us. Ma'am Tessa, go ahead.
Yeah. I think we should encourage composting in different households. My question is for Miss Sonia. Sonia, meron bang, hindi ba kasi nakita na natin yung mga bins, okay, na meron bang maliliit na bins run by electricity na pwedeng mabenta sa mga households so that we can do our own composting easily? Is this available? Do we have this technology?
Ang drums kasi natin, 1,000 1 ton eh, yung mga malalaki, no? Actually, matagal na namin inaano yan na magkaroon sana ng biogas digester for the household.
Oo.
You produce ng methane and then you can use that for cooking kasi yun ang pinakamabilisan. Sa India kasi, ganun ang mga bahay, meron silang biodigester sa kanilang backyard and then they use that methane for cooking. Eh wala pa tayong nagagawang ganun eh. Matagal na kami naghahanap niyan, even mag-import tayo sa India for households na mga ilang kilos lang a day.
Yeah. In fact, kahit na hindi na nila gamitin for electricity, no, kasi pwede mo namang gamitin yung soil for your garden, for your mga ano. So, pwede pa sa DENR, masuggest to na talagang i-encourage ng Solid Waste Management Commission that the engineering schools go into this project, creating a composting bin run by electricity or renewable or by solar that we can use to compost. Kasi I've been composting in my house, no? Talagang medyo, well, it takes a lot of time to mix your kitchen waste. Well, basta I think it's better and it will facilitate yung ating more gamit ng ating ng compostables natin that we produce kaysa sa tinatapon na lang kung saan-saan.
Meron silang pinibenta yung bokashi na may drum na lalagay mo doon tapos kaya lang yan, you have to buy. Medyo may expense yun. Hindi ko naman ginagamit din ngayon eh. But meron silang bin, tapos lalagay mo doon yung compostable mo and then you put the bokashi mixture. Tapos nakukompose yun. I think Quezon City Hall, nakita ko doon ang daming bokashi drums eh. Pero gagastos ka yung ano.
Sige. We hope really that the schools go into it. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tessa. Ma'am Gwen, go ahead.
Yung kanina sabi mo hindi nasagot, di ba sinagot na namin yung WT at saka nuclear is a false solution to the energy crisis or the climate pinaliwanag na nila, hindi ko na in-expound yung iba. Ang gusto ko lang idagdag, kaya rin siya false solution kasi dadagdag ko yung problema. Halimbawa, di ba, example yung waste to energy. Sinabi ni Tita Sonia na magka-create pa ng sanitary landfill para iayos pa yung natirang waste. Eh, ano ba yun? Di lalo pang, di ba? So, ang gusto kong i-enmask dito, I think may hanky-panky, may possible siguradong corruption to kasi ang lalaking pondo ng project na to di ba? Yung WT, nuclear. Parang ano yan flood, control, lang yan, hindi pa na-expose. Kaya, warning sa DOE, DENR. Sino pa ba itong involved dito? Hindi pa na masyado involved ang ENAD. DOE, DENR. Pag nasilip na kayo, actually, susunod na kayo. Kaya, kung ako sa inyo, tantanan nyo na yung pagpupush ng mga yan. Hindi ko alam kung paano nyo mapipigilan. Tell your higher ups that there is a strong opposition from civil society and the church against those things. And delikado din, isipin nyo rin yung mga anak nyo, yung mga anak nyo in the future. Yun na nga lang, basura or konting pollution ng isang factory. Hirap na hirap isolve ng ating local government units and ng national agency. Dadagdagan nyo pa ng monstrous WTE and nuclear. Parang hindi natin kakayanin. Parang ganon. So, wag na natin sinasabi nyo, hindi, pag-aaralan naman natin, kukonsulta tayo ng mga experts kung paano ma-protect tayo kung nagkaroon ng radiation. Ang Japan nga, hindi nga super high-tech na nga, hindi na kaya. Tapos, delikado pa tayo sa earthquake. Sinabi na rin kanina ni Jerry, yung Ring of Fire. So, di ba, delikado talaga kung at saka yung related dun sa WTE, bakit false solution din siya? Hindi siya papunta sa zero waste, di ba? 3 yung R's natin. Reduce nga. Dapat magbawas nga tayo ng mga although medyo minsan guilty din ako, pero minsan nagsishare, like kagabi, Dawn. So, dito kasi sa Marikina, very strict sa tapunan. So, kanina biodegradable. May habit ako minsan para hindi na maaga gagawin. Ginagawa ko na ng Dawn. Tapos may nagkakalkal siya ng basura. Manang, anong ginagawa mo? Naghahanap siya, nagkakalkal siya. Ano ba tawag ni Dawn? Kalakal ang tawag niya. So, nilabas ko yung mga recyclables ko na pwede niyang ibenta. Kasi imbis na magkalkal pa siya doon, di ba? So yun pa, I think EcoWaste also deals with them. Anong tawag sila doon? Waste speaker. So, imbis na, yun sana ang masutukan ng DOE. Hindi yung mga malalaki. Kung just solution yan, titignan natin yung, pati sa community. Alam mo, naalala ko, Tita Sonia, remember we talked with Senator Loren. Nandun ka. Nag-consultation. Right after nung may blinak kaming forest bill, kaya medyo galit pa siya, naalala niya yun. Medyo may pasaring pa siya sa akin noon eh. Si blinak namin nila Dr. Nina. Tapos, alam ko na-convince mo siya noon eh. I'm not sure if EcoWaste was there, but you were there and you told her may pera sa basura. And then right after that, correct me, di ba, yung office niya, nagsegregate, basta inaral niya, tinuruan niya. And then later, buong Senate na ata, and then later, nabalitaan ko na lang parang, meron na silang pang pera pang Christmas party. Di ba, may naipon sila. O, yun. So,
Kasi may
there's
MRF. Nagkaroon ng MRF ang Senate.
because of that, di ba? Because of that dialogue with us and then tinutukan mo, right? Ha? Yeah, tinutukan mo si Senator Loren, am I right? Di ba?
Yun. Una, si Senator Pia muna. Siya yung environment. After Pia, si Pia naman asked the help of Mother Earth to help Lino Cayetano. So, tinulungan namin siya sa barangay. Dito sa Taguig, and it became a model zero waste barangay. And then after Pia, si Senator Loren naman, very
Nauna yung paghingi ng tulong ni Pia kaysa yung meeting natin kay Loren, di mo na maalala. Alin ang nauna? Naalala mo pa yan, hindi na yung chronology.
the first, Pia was first.
First talaga. Pero after nun, si Senator Loren bought it in, di ba? After that, and then, ang gusto ko na ipaalala, Dr. Nina and I, and sino pa yung tao ng EcoWaste noon, before the pandemic, kumarip kami sa house. Kasi may pinapasilang WTE, na-block namin yan, I think, hindi ata nila napasa, kasi very strong yung namin ang sinabi namin, bakit hindi kayo mag-exposure dun sa mga sites na yung sinasabi mo nga, yung Pampanga? Sinasabi namin, may site yung Mother Earth EcoWaste na i-model. May interesado naman sila na, so ayun na, mabalik ako dun eh. Kailangan ng conversion of the feet para mag-conversion ng head and conversion of the heart. Ngayon, ang problema ngayon natin, itong mga DOE, ang lagi nilang kausap at conversion, yung mga elite and businessmen, Meralco, chu-chu-chu. So ngayon, kailangan natin silang madala, makita nila yung communities, makita nila yung sectors natin, conversion of the feet nga, para magkaroon ng, ewan ko kung magkakaroon pa ba sila ng conversion, logical conversion. I was while preparing for this, naisip ko talagang kailangan ng buong government. Although, yun nga di ba, meron ngayon, ina-expose yung mga, especially I think, mas marami sa CSOs ngayon against the Duterte. Ma-jail siya, yung justice for the victims, and then yung flood control. Pero, dapat tayo as a green movement, pag-isipan natin, kailangan natin i-expose Hindi natin sinasabing ipapatanggal natin tong administration kasi nga, alam naman natin, ayaw natin yung vice. Kaya, pero ang punto, ayusin naman ng present administration hanggat ano pa yung pwedeng policy and direction na pwede nating papalitan, ipadire-direct, kailangan magawa natin kasi kung hindi, palala na to ng palala from Duterte to Marcos to question mark. So yun ang dapat nating isipin, paano pa natin ma-redirect or matakot sila so ibig sabihin, kailangan natin ng high-level discussion with NEDA, DOE. Ayan, pinagmamayabang niya kanina, we have an interagency, chu-chu-chu. Naging interagency kayo, ba't di nyo kami sinasali? Bakit kayo lang ang nag-uusap? Hindi pwede yon. Dapat multi-sectoral. Yan lang.
Maraming salamat, Ms. Gwen, for that very interesting feedback. And with that, we would like to thank everyone for that meaningful exchange of thoughts and ideas. And thank you to our research speakers and enlightening us through your answers. I think kung isa-summarize po natin yung naging takbo ng Open Forum, Maria, no? We can summarize that actually there is a big sentiment among environmental advocates right here in the forum that WTE and the nuclear energy is really a false solution. And that puts into question the claim of DOE and DENR and others that there is a public consultation that agrees to this. So yun yung nakikita nating summary. May mga ebidensya na hindi naman talaga sang-ayon ang marami dito. And environmental advocates are really into it kasi alam nila yan eh. May mga data sila. So saan nakukuha yung idea na mayroong tamang public consultation? I think there is supposed to be a sit-down discussion with environmental advocates and those who are really opposing, and siguro may mga pabor dito ay mag-usap-usap, upuan at talagang malaman kung ano ba talaga ang sentimentong ito, may kailangan natin o hindi talaga natin kailangan. So we are not just done yet. I think Marian has some more announcements to make before we conclude for today's Kamayan Forum. Go ahead, Marian, back to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Sir David. Tama po, no, talagang may communication gaps pa po tayo sa ating mga civil society organizations. And talagang nakikita natin base sa open forum po na may counterproductivity po talaga sa kung ano ang nagawa na, kung ano po ang tama, at kung ano pang niluluto sa gobyerno. So, before we proceed, medyo nag-overtime po tayo, pero it's okay. I guess it's okay kasi talagang napakamalaman po ng ating mga naging discussion. And importante naman po talaga na ma-shed light tayo dito sa mga matters na to. So, before we proceed, here are a few quick announcements po muna. Firstly, the GC Secretariat will be sharing the link to the evaluation form in the chat box, and it will be flashed also on screen. There you can see it po. Please take a few minutes to fill it out. Your feedback means a lot to us as it helps us improve future Kamayan sessions. For those requesting e-certificates of participation, a reminder that you must have actually been present in today's forum, not just pre-registered, and you must submit a completed evaluation form. And we'd also like to invite you to become an official member of Green Convergence to stay engaged in activities such as our Kamayan sessions. And many more. The registration link will also be shared in the chat box, and you can also visit Green Convergence Facebook page. Wag po muna ang website kasi under maintenance po ang ating website for more details po. Lastly, we encourage everyone to be mindful of their carbon footprint. Use the Ako Ang Bukas household GHG calculator web app where you can calculate your carbon footprint and find ways to reduce it. You can also be part of the bigger change by signing the Ako Ang Bukas pledge. Links will also be shared in the chat box. Okay? Back to you, Sir David.
Thank you so much, Marian. To top it off and officially close today's forum, we have the honor to call on the founding trustee of Green Convergence and Program Director of Ako Ang Bukas, Dr. Angelina P. Galang. Let's give our full attention as she delivers her closing remarks on today's discussion. Mga kalikasang araw po, Dr. G.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'll make it very brief because we're running out of time. Definitely, nuclear and WTE are forceful solutions to the climate change emergency. Obviously, WTE because it emits more carbon dioxide than fossil fuels. So it adds to climate change, WTE. Ang nuclear, is like treating a fever with medicine that can cause cancer. Okay, you have a fever, so bigyan mo biogesic. Pag bibigyan mo ng medicine na magbibigay ng cancer, ganun din ang nuclear. Maybe it does not emit greenhouse gases as much, although it does also, but you'll give naman all kinds of diseases and radioactivity from extraction to manufacture to waste will produce or emit radioactivity, which will give you cancer. Okay. Okay. I'm glad that our government representatives emphasize that they are studying this very well. But as Tessa pointed out, yes, you're studying, but you're already promoting these two technologies which are shown to be so harmful. There has already been a launch among the LGUs of the WTE. There already have been 12 sites for small modular reactors. And speaking of those, I don't know what survey you made, but did you have the question, would you want a nuclear reactor in your place? Because I know that Antique, through Lauren Legarda, has already rejected it. Bataan is already rejecting it. I hear that Pangasinan is rejecting it. So I don't know what kind of questions were in that survey. You know, this is like the NIMBY syndrome. Not in my backyard, it's okay, but not in my backyard. Because everybody knows the dangers associated with nuclear. And now WTE, the dioxins. So, well, we have said enough about the economics. They are both very expensive. Given our economic situation, why are we looking at these expensive technologies? Socially, it's unacceptable because of the health risks, because the employment will not go to people. It will go only to highly trained and very expensively trained technocrats. Sustainability. We have talked already about the contracts that LGUs might be saddled with. But what about nuclear? The nuclear sources are fewer than even oil, because oil is found in many countries, but how many countries have uranium? So we will really be at the mercy of these few countries which have uranium. And not to mention the countries which have the technology to extract, to manufacture the uranium critical mass needed for sustained chain reaction to run our power plants. So sustainability is a no-no for the two. We can see that they are both not sustainable. As has been pointed out, we have so much renewable energy. They are not intermittent, as Bert pointed out. Coal is more intermittent. You know, God has blessed us with all of these. So, solar, wind, ocean, geothermal, water, ocean. As I always say, if we go to these technologies, when we ever have so much blessings from the Lord, we are shooting ourselves in the foot, in the mouth, and in the head. Let us learn from our recent experiences. We're already vulnerable to natural hazards. We will exacerbate our vulnerability by these technologies. Let us be kind. Let us love our nation. Let us embrace the blessings that God gave us. But if we go through this trajectory for national development with dangerous technologies, we are dooming our nation. Go ahead and study some more, but you know, we're spending so much on these studies. So many studies have been made already on nuclear. So may I ask our government agencies to learn from the experiences of other countries, to learn from the experts, which we have had this afternoon, and many other experts. Go ahead and study, but please love our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Galong, for that moving close. Alam nyo, talagang it takes heart lang po talaga for our environment and our nature and to revert to our environmental principles. Pagdating po dito, I wish, ayun nga po, sabi ni Dr. Galang, we look more into the dangers of these technologies, no? Sir David?
Yan, tama yan, Mari. Napaganda na sinabi ni Dr. G. At siguro ang isa sa gusto rin nating idagdag, unang-una, ay marami pong nakatenga na renewable energy sources na hindi nakakonect sa grid dahil po sa kakulangan ng NGCP. I think the DOE should also look at, enforcing the mandate na panagutin itong NGCP kasi ang daming tenga. We have the Renewable Energy Act na napakatagal na, and we have the goal, no, to have a just transition, and I think to rethink, no. Again, environmental advocates like Green Convergence like us is not the enemy. We are not anti-development. We are here to help you out. But I hope that you will be more of a listener, no, to our advocacies here. So yan, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng dumalo. Thank you very much once again to our resource speakers and to everyone who made this session possible. And also thanks to JRS Express for supporting the 420th, wow, ang dami Kamayan para sa Kalikasan Session Team, Just Climate Transition. Should it include nuclear and WTE? I think the consensus here today is no, it should not. Happy 65 years of delivery service to JRS Express. Your support for Kamayan will surely go a long way in our environmental missions. And we'd like to remind everyone that our next Kamayan Forum will be on December 19, 2025. Bago po yan magpasko. That will be the last one for 2025. See you all again. This has been David D'Angelo, Green Convergence Public Relations Officer, and with me is
Marian Luisa Palo, Green Convergence's Media and Communications Officer. We hope to see you all again for another meaningful environmental discussion next month. Let us keep the conversation going, share what you've learned, invite others to be part of the movement, and together let's build a greener and more sustainable future. Maraming salamat at makakalikasang araw sa ating lahat.
happy weekend po. God bless
Happy
and